is the Herd Line News.
I'm being sarcastic. California's awesome. Luka Doncic has been suffering from a strained left calf, which forced him to miss Game 2 of the series against the Jazz, but it has progressed to the point that there is legitimate hope that he will be able to return for Game 3. One source told ESPN his status was uncertain and he's day-to-day. Another source is saying there's hope he could return for Game 3, but it's not a sure thing. He continued to work out yesterday, rehab workouts, and it has included gradually ramping up basketball activities.
I'd feel great. Utah's got both their best players, and I just beat them without Luka. I don't have my singular best player. They have both theirs, and I got to win.
Game 3 is tomorrow night. And it will be 11 days since he suffered the injury, and they were, as you mentioned, able to even the series. So
you had to, if you're Utah, you had to win both those games in Dallas. Come on now. I got both my stars. You don't have your one.
But, I mean, that's why, every year it feels like you get the hype of Utah coming out of the regular season. Some teams are just great regular season teams.
Yeah.
The postseason is a different season, and different teams play differently in the postseason.
Chicago and Utah, to me, this year, we're going to be great regular season teams. Now, I think Miami's that, but I'm being proven wrong.
Well, the Mavs are currently 6-point underdogs tomorrow night, according to Fox Bets.
Ooh.
That's a little interesting.
Let me sleep on that.
I
I'm
have
on
to
a
wait
hot
a
streak
while
right
on
now.
that one. I mean, I maintain I would not rush Luka back for this series at all.
I'm the same way. I'd play Game 3 and see what happens. If I win, I just play Game 4.
Yeah, I would not rush him back until it becomes a desperate situation. And even then, I would really have to consider, look, if he can't play, he can't play. Obviously, these are must-win games. If he was capable of being out there, he would be. Yeah. But you don't want to put him in a situation where he goes out there and suffers an injury that affects him for the next year.
Yeah.
So you just have to be careful with those kind of injuries. Speaking of my Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler had himself a night last night. Playoff career-high 45 points, including a 7-0 run in the final moments that helped the Heat hold off the Hawks in a 115-105 Game 2 win. He was 4 of 7 from three-point range, also had 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and no turnovers. He said he is a different player now than when they went on a run in the bubble, and he doesn't feel like he has to be as ball dominant because they have Kyle Lowry as a true point guard. So they now have a 2-0 lead over the Hawks. Game 3 is Friday in Atlanta, and Miami is currently favored by 1.5 according to Fox Bets. Teams that are up 2-0 have a 93% chance of winning the series, which is why it's very important for the Nets to get a win tonight.
Yeah.
The Hawks have never rallied back from being down 0-2 in a series. So, I mean, look, I figured that the Heat were going to win this first-round series no matter who they ended up matching up with. They are the number 1 seed for a reason. But Jimmy Butler had himself a night last night. So, the Suns were obviously the number 1 team in the league and the team to beat going into this postseason, but they might have suffered a potential setback last night. So, Devin Booker went down with a hamstring injury in the third quarter. Pelicans did a great job jumping on that opportunity, went on to beat the Suns 125-114. Just a great performance out of the Pelicans last night. Obviously, this is what happens sometimes throughout series, so they were able to take advantage of it. Booker had a great night. He had 31 points in the first half and hit 7 3-pointers before the injury. Even gave a baby a little fist bump. I don't know if you saw that video. It's really funny. He is laying on the sideline and someone had a child.
Yeah.
Just gave a fist bump. Brandon Ingram took over for the Pelicans in the second half. Had a great night. Scored 26 of his 37 points in the second half. So now the series is tied at 1. Game 3 is Friday night in New Orleans. I do think the Suns will end up winning this series, but this is very concerning as you go on throughout the playoffs. This is what happens. This is a long postseason. You want to make sure everybody is healthy as you move on throughout the postseason. So this is something that's concerning, but the Suns are a great team and a well-balanced team. I think they'll end up winning without Devin Booker, but something to pay attention to as they move on throughout the postseason.
All right, good stuff. Joy Taylor with the news.
Well, that's the news. Oh, no. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
Everyone complains about politics and they don't vote for their local politicians.
Oh, you ever noticed?
Those are the ones that actually affect your life.
Oh, no, there's no question. The mayor of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I know there's one side to vote for me that will that has the things I care about aligned with his
you should go and
platform.
Vote for them.
Yes.
Or don't complain. So Kyrie had a huge game 1 against the Celtics. They lost. And he also had some interactions with fans.
Yeah.
He said after the game he was just giving them back the same energy they were giving him. That is how we wandered into the being about it conversation the other day.
Yeah.
The league just did decide to punish Kyrie for his actions. They fined him $50,000 yesterday. This isn't the first time he's been fined for getting into it with fans of a former team. He was fined $25,000 for getting into it with Cavs fans.
You got to find him, though. You can't, you have to tell, this is a messaging. It's like.
Yeah, I mean, listen, did what he do offend me? Absolutely not. I'm sure if any of us were standing around listening to the things that were being screamed at Kyrie, you would have probably tried to do more.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. I also am just me. So, maybe if there was a child behind you, you're a little more upset. Whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Also, if you're bringing a child to a Boston Celtics game, like miss me with the whole Precious thing. You're pretty much objecting to them that there might hear some decorative language when they're there. But the league does have to take some kind of measures when this happens. So I can see both sides of it. Well, they'll face the Celtics again tonight, which we are very much looking forward to. You are going to be sober with a sandwich.
Nope. I'm going to have a gigantic sandwich. Total clarity on the television.
They're currently 3.5-point underdogs, according to Fox Bet.
I'm taking the Nets and the points.
That's juicy.
And I'm also taking KD to have a spicy night. 36 points.
Ooh.
He's going to go big. Kyrie won't be as good. KD's going off.
Well, they're underdogs to win the series at plus 175. The Celtics are currently favored at minus 213. Teams that go down 0-2 have a 7% chance of winning the series.
Not great.
So it doesn't feel that desperate because they haven't played a home game.
Hey, Ben Simmons, 6-7 minutes a half. Brother.
I mean, I don't even follow that story anymore. Let me know when he's back. I've got so much time in a day, and me following the ups and downs of Ben Simmons possibly coming back is not helping me be more successful at this point. But this game is going to be, I don't want to be hyperbolic.
It's going to be a good one.
A good one, but this has a lot of implications.
A lot. Major legacy implications here.
But they weren't, they came into the postseason a 7 seed. They should not be winning this series.
Hey, they should have won.
In reality, when you look at how they came into the postseason, they shouldn't be favored. The Celtics should be winning this series.
First of all, Brooklyn had a ton of turnovers in the first quarter. KD played poorly, and they led with 30 seconds left. They should have won the game. So Brooklyn's ticked off. They gave one away. Tonight, they take it out.
I get it because it's KD and Kyrie, but shouldn't some pressure be on the Celtics? No. We're just saying the two, they should just not be.
Maybe, but I think Brooklyn, there's legacy pressure, franchise pressure, Steve Nash feels pressure. He's got to coach his game of the year.
The better team. So AJ Green's first season with the Cardinals didn't go the way he expected, and he acknowledged that his chemistry with Kyler Murray needs some work.
You mentioned on just working with Kyler in that first year and having a chance to come back here. Just how do you see your relationship with him, and is there room for growth to get better, even though you guys already spent a year together?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot of room. I think for me, it's just communicating with him what I see, or what he want me to do, how he want me to run this route. And I think last year that was a lack on my part. I didn't really communicate with him about stuff like that because I didn't want to put a lot of stuff on his plate.
He also said it's fair to question whether he and Kyler were on the same page. He had 54 receptions for 848 yards and 3 touchdowns. In his final season with Cincinnati, coming off of before the ankle injury, he had 47 receptions for 523 yards and 2 touchdowns. So it's not that he had overall a bad season for where he is at this point in his career. And sometimes, expectations can inflate how well things are supposed to go. Christian Kirk isn't there anymore. He's in Jacksonville. So it should give AJ a little bit more opportunity at the position, but with the way things are going with Kyler Murray and the Cardinals,
they'll sign him.
Who knows how this is going to play out? My question is, as always in any of these situations, what else are you going to do?
By the way, I just thought of a Debo take, but I'll wait till there's a perfect time to talk about it.
Write down? You're going to hold on to it?
I'm going to hold on to it. I'll wait to the better time. I just thought of a Debo take.
So the Cowboys traded Amari Cooper to the Browns this offseason, and tight end Dalton Schultz knows it will be hard, but he thinks they'll be okay without him.
Obviously, we're a better offense with him. Unfortunately, we don't have him, and so I think just the next step is just having guys step up. But yeah, I think that again, there's room to grow in a bunch of other aspects of the game.
So they have CeeDee Lamb, who's going to step into the number one role. They re-signed Michael Gallup. And
they're going to draft a
James
receiver,
Washington.
too.
Yes,
They lost Cedric Wilson to Miami, who's way undervalued as a really good 3.
Yes, but Cooper led the Cowboys wide receivers for the past 3 seasons.
Yeah. Great route runner, great technician.
I'm very interested to see how it works for them because he is a volume guy. He's great. Dak's numbers are significantly better with him
and
than
remember,
without him.
Zeke's not the same as he was 2 years ago. They lost their right tackle, and their left tackle's aging. So it's not just Amari